Welcome, everyone, to our coverage here on One World Sports alongside New York Cosmos defender Hunter Freeman. I'm JP Dellacamera. Australia are once again back in the final. They've been led by their star and fiery striker, Tim Cahill.
Yeah, and Tim Cahill, he's just one of those players that any coach wants to have him in his team. And we've seen time and time again when Australia really needs a goal, he puts them on their back. And we saw that there in that first game, getting that pivotal goal to tie it up. And then he's brought great moments to the whole soccer world with goals like this bicycle kick against China. We saw that fantastic goal against the Netherlands in the World Cup. And of course, he's so dangerous on set pieces. He's great in the air, great from crosses out wide. So just a very important player. One, when you're playing against, you have to keep your eyes on.
On the opposite side, a much younger star for South Korea, Son Heung-min, has gotten better and better with each game in this tournament.
Yeah, and Son Heung-min, he missed a little bit of time in the tournament due to some illnesses, but really has come on as of late, and he's just a dynamic player. He loves to take defenders one-on-one. He's only 22 years old, so he's got a lot of soccer ahead of him. He's got a lot of learning as well, and I think he's only going to continue to grow and get better, but when it comes to the attack for South Korea, he's the most important piece, and he really creates everything going forward for them.
They met earlier in the tournament in group play with South Korea winning 1-0. So in this rematch, who's the favorite?
Well, it's funny because I would normally say South Korea. They haven't yet to give up a goal. But with this tournament being hosted in Australia, I think it has to be Australia. The pressure's on them to win. They want to get that taste out of their mouth from not only the loss against South Korea in the group stage, but also from the final last year when they lost to Japan. And, hopefully moving forward that they can get this victory.
Come back with us. We'll have the starting lineups for these two teams. One more game to play. It's the final of Asian Cup 2015 between Australia and South Korea.
And welcome. I'm Ed Cohen. Great to be joined by Janusz Michalek and the Cosmos defenseman Hunter Freeman. Hope to see you back in the field pretty soon. But for now, we talk about your team. What do you like so far after one game?
Well, I think for the Cosmos, you went on the road the first game against basically a new team in Fort Lauderdale. You walked out there with 3 points, but I think there was also some room to grow. They'll be a little bit disappointed the way they played, but happy to get the win and get off to a good start.
Now, you look at the Indy 11 last year, their first year in the NASL. They opened this season last weekend with a draw against Atlanta. Where does this team stand as they look to build on the momentum from the end of last year?
In a good place, I think. At the very least, they don't have to worry about the little details of being a new club, right? I mean, they have experience in Jürgen Sommer, at least 1 year as a manager. Peter Wild, the president, general manager, he knows how to get things done. He's done it with Chicago Fire, of course, so he's going to continue doing a good job. They're going to upgrade the stadium as well. So I think it's a difficult opponent. And, of course, the Cosmos, Hunter, you would know that. I found that out last season, drawing all 3 times.
Well, we could talk so much about the Cosmos and their newcomers. It was Leo Fernandez, a newcomer, scored the goal against Fort Lauderdale last weekend. But the setup by Walter Restrepo says a lot. He's been a big piece in the early going.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Restrepo is someone that I went up against many times the past 2 seasons, and he's a handful. And, in that first game, he obviously got the assist on the goal. But for me, Walter, what he provides that the Cosmos didn't have last year is that threat to get in behind, really take defenders one-on-one. He's really eager every single time he gets the ball to beat his guy 1v1, and that's something that I think will benefit us tonight.
Sticking with the midfield, that is a strength for Indy 11. And one guy who's so good with the ball at his feet, Dylan Mares, makes a lot happen.
Yes, Dylan Mares was good in the first game, and I think he's that link, he's that conduit, obviously, to everything they do in terms of attacking football. And this is not a team that looked to me in the first game like they're going to score a lot of goals. They're going to need that little bit of a creativity. Someone like Mares, of course, that can provide that telling ball, that through ball, perhaps, for the 2 strikers.
So why is this game a rivalry? Well, these 2 squads met 3 times last year. All 3 meetings ended in draws. We'll see what happens here. Cosmos, they owned possession. They were dictating the pace of play until Indy 11 broke through, and it was with that over-the-top ball, and it led to a big chance with Jimmy Maurer well out of the net.
Yeah, a couple of issues there. Of course, if you look at that ball over the top, anticipation from Maurer is good. Obviously, maybe he could have played that to the side. This is a great finish from Brian Brown. If you remember, Hunter, the way it started, Denis Chatela got stripped of the ball before that even began. So, as always, there's 2 or 3 players that have to take responsibility on.
Yeah, we've been caught on the break from when we've had a set piece or a corner. We haven't dealt with the ball coming out, and it's led to a good chance. And Here, Reversio doing very well to get on the end of that ball. And just unfortunate, Nick makes a fantastic save because Raul's right there to try to put it in.
Yeah, great ball from Ayosa to the far post. You could see that Reversio didn't generate enough power. Another ball over the top from midfield. No pressure on the ball. Maris comes into it, and watch Jimmy Maurer. This is an outstanding save because going down 2-0 would have been much more difficult. That's obvious, but I think it's the ball over the top that's causing a lot of problems in transition.
Yeah, again, similar situation to the goal, but Maris gets a great shot off here, and unfortunately, but fortunately, we have Jimmy back there, and we've gotten used to him making these types of saves.
Well, you look at this one. Fernandez plays a leading ball. Stocklin just doesn't get a good touch. It's difficult. He's got to wait for that ball to come across his body. He knows there's pressure on left and right. Look at him behind. I think he's aware of that. Maybe gets a little nervous.
Yeah, but these are chances as a forward that you're used to. Those tight spaces. There's not a lot of room for error. So you hope that he could have done a little bit better with that because it was a great ball from Leo.
Oh, we said this at the top. These teams met 3 times last year. All 3 meetings ended in draws. Cosmos blew a couple of leads a year ago. Right now, they'll try to come back against Indy 11. 1-0 in favor of the home